Okay, so today, what's up, everyone? This is Rugby Ryan with my homie Neil here. We are here talking about One Piece. It's an anime that we are both very, very big fans of. Neil's put a lot more time into it than me, but I'm working on it. So, yeah, Neil, want to introduce yourself?
What's up, everybody? My name is Neil Blanken. I am a One Piece fanatic. A lot of people probably don't know that about me, but it's kind of like a guilty pleasure for myself. But I honestly just need to chill out with that and just be loud and be proud because One Piece is sick. So that's pretty much it.
So you're caught up to date with it, right?
Yes, all caught up to date. I started out being anime only until I finished what the anime currently had, and then I just waited a few months, just got lazy and said, screw it. I'll just find a way to read the manga. Did it. So I'm all caught up with everything.
Awesome. Okay, so I've got some. So let's just talk about what's the main premise of One Piece.
Okay, so the One Piece is set in this fantasy world, um, and the world as we know it, or at least of recorded history, is about 800 years old. So like it's not in you know current Earth. It's like a different world. It's like an unnamed planet, but it's Earth-like, and it's about pirates. And Gold Roger, who is the king of the pirates, he found this thing, his treasure, which is known to be the One Piece, and it is known to be anybody who basically wants anything is gonna want this One Piece. We don't know what it is, but it sparked this entire great pirate age, this age of piracy that is basically what the show is about. And it revolves around the main character Luffy, who and it documents his quest to become the king of the pirates and find the One Piece.
Awesome. And there's a bunch of adventures and friends along the way and fights and villains and stuff. It's a fun time.
Yep.
Let me get. Oh shit. Okay, so we've got some fan theories. Now these are the top uh, theory related posts on the One Piece subreddit within the last week. I had them all pulled up until I just fucked up. Okay, so I don't know what this means. Could be a major plot role in Elbaf. Oh yeah, so there's a lot of talk that apparently Elbaf, the land of the giants, with those giants that they met back when they were on what was that island?
Little Garden.
Little Garden.
Yep.
Um, that
Dory and Brongy, man.
they're gonna appear soon, and this dude Uruj is gonna be
Rouge, yeah.
important.
He's one of the supernovas.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think that that's gonna be the case, or do you think they've alluded to that, or what's your opinion?
Um, well, they haven't really talked about him much post time skip. The only thing that they really brought up about a Rouge was so Kaido, when he first got introduced on screen, Kaido was on top of a sky island, so like Skypea, but it was a separate island. Aruj is also he's like a Skypean. Maybe he's native to like a different sky island, but he saw Kaido jump 10,000 meters from the top of the sky island onto a different island, and that was one of two of his on-screen showings. The
Damn.
other one was when um, they showed him. He actually defeated Big Mom's fourth Sweet General. It's like one of her versions of the Yongo commanders. So he defeated her, and then right after that, Cracker, who's the third Sweet Commander, came in and beat a Rouge. Well, other than those two instances, we haven't heard much of a Rouge. And yeah, he's the only supernova who we have yet to hear from plot wise time skip in like an in-depth scenario. So given that he's the only one left and that I presume that they would be going to Elbaf next for as like a major arc, I mean, it would make sense. I can buy into that.
Do
That
you
he would,
think that the red haired pirates are at Elbaf?
yes, 100%. I'm a big fan of this One Piece theorist on YouTube called Mr. Morge. Shout out to Mr. Morge. He has a great Elbaf theory regarding the red hair pirates and Elbaf. It all makes sense because so Usopp in Little Garden, he was infatuated with the giants, and it continues on in Ennie's lobby when he sees the other group of giants. He wants to be a great warrior of the sea. Um, and Shanks has his father, Yasopp, as a crewmate. So it would make perfect sense in my eyes to have Usopp have kind of like his arc, so to speak, in Elbaf, to where you have the red hair pirates and the straw hats come together where Usopp can kind of, be one with the giants, prove to his father that he's a great warrior of the sea. And like back in the Syrup Village arc, when we first got introduced to Usopp, he was proud that his dad was a pirate. So that was like his big thing. Um, and you know, now that Big Mom and Kaido are, you know, have their alliance in Wano, they'll probably be out of the picture. So what's left would be the Red Hair Pirates. I think would be a perfect place to have Luffy reunite with Shanks because he wants to meet Shanks after he's proven that he's a great pirate. Which, if he takes down Big Mom and Kaido at Wano, you know the
But then
people
after they're
there.
gone, it'll be what, Blackbeard and and Shanks. There'll be those two big ones left,
Yeah,
and
as
it'll go
far as
Shanks and then probably Blackbeard last, right?
yeah, because a lot of people speculate that Blackbeard is going to be like the final villain, end of series. So
I have my own personal theory. I think that's going to roll back. Everyone hates this theory, but I think it's going to roll back around and it's going to be a battle between Luffy and Kobe, like going from the very first episode all the way rolling back all the way to that, and Kobe will be like super powerful, and he'll be like an admiral or something in the Marines, and
yeah,
that'll be it.
I don't dislike that theory, but I can't say I can agree with it yet. The thing about it is that we have no idea how strong Kobe's getting.
Hmm.
Like, I believe now he's achieved vice admiral rank, which is really impressive. I mean, granted, him and Helmeppo have been training under Garp ever since
Yeah.
he enlisted in the Marines, which Garp like is beyond powerful. Could have been fleet admiral many times over, but just refused to be the guy to deliver all the orders because he would be right under the celestial dragons, the Gorosei.
Hmm.
So with him giving that rank of vice admiral, he could just do whatever he wanted. So uh, it's weird to say, but if that would be the case, I'd be okay with it. However, I think they could do stuff better. But who knows? Maybe Kobe just turns out to be some beast, and
Yeah, maybe he masters hockey or something, like,
yeah, because I mean, to this point, we don't know if he has a devil fruit. Uh,
yeah, yeah, he could have had one, or he could eat one at some point.
right? And like the only admirals that, as we know, don't have a devil fruit would be Garp, who's just like a master of hockey, you know, as we know. But I would like to see Kobe have a devil fruit, but it'd have to be a really interesting one. But it'd be interesting to see.
So then the next theory that we have here, let me see if I can get this up. Damn it. Let me just F11. Okay, this one's longer, it looks. One of the reasons why Odin decided to dance naked in the streets was apologize to the Kurozumi clan for the way they got treated by the people of Wano. Orochi may be a scumbag, but he and the rest of his family got persecuted and harassed for no other reason than being related to the traitor who wanted to take over Wano, Orochi's grandfather. Kanjuro lost his will to live because he saw his parents getting murdered by Orochi and wanted to be shogun so he could have his revenge on what he perceived as collective guilt of the Wano citizens. So it seems like I have no idea what's going on because I don't know who any of these characters are because I haven't read Wano. and I'm nowhere near that yet.
Yeah,
So
you gotta Ryan, you're on what? Like Ennie's Lobby or Water
I'm
7?
about to start Annie's Lobby. They're on the C train to Annie's
Dude,
Lobby.
okay, so the C train is like a mini arc. It's definitely not
It's
filmed
honest. It feels.
or
It's
canon.
cool. I like it.
It's so cool, and like the amount of action you can have in such a small setting, it's awesome, dude. It's really good. But I'll tell you what, right now, Ennie's Lobby is my favorite arc. Uh, like, and then
Is
probably
Bellucci your favorite villain then?
no, it's just I have a that was the moment in One Piece to where it was a great shonen arc because everybody had somebody that they were fighting, and they did such a good job of going over Robin's backstory and the emotional significance behind that, and how it leads to the advancement of the plot and the mystery surrounding One Piece, like the history of the world. Which I really find fascinating is how Oda is able to take all these little different things that he makes, and then there's still so much speculation like 15 years after that arc is done. um, it's just really fascinating, and then just the emotion that kind of culminates to like the climax of that arc, I think is bar none probably the best in the series. I don't want to ruin anything for you. I mean, I'm sure you know what happens, but
I
like,
I, I don't know the specifics of it. Annie's Lobby is one of the ones I don't really know what happens because people are so ambiguous about it because they're like, "Oh my god, it's so good, you just need to watch it."
dude, yeah.
Like I know what happens in Impel Down, kinda. I know what happens in Marineford. I don't quite know what happens in Fishman Island.
Fishman Island is very underrated as an arc. I think the only reason why people will shit talk Fishman Island, if you've heard that, is because of the villain. And I don't know what it is about him, whether like not like just his his life mission or like his outlook on life is just stupid or his design sucks. But the backstory that revolves around Fishman Island is awesome. Fisher Tiger and Queen Otohime, great backstory.
And then, so I was telling you yesterday. So, what do you think is gonna come of Monkey D. Dragon, Luffy's father? Do you think so? I've heard some theories that he has a zone devil fruit where he can turn into an actual dragon, but like a mystical dragon, where
Yeah, so
where he can
it would be
control the
like
weather.
kings and knights like folklore instead of like the Eastern dragon design.
No,
Kind
I was no more like the Eastern Dragon design where they can
of.
control the weather. Because
Okay,
that's why
so
when he calls that lightning strike in
mhm.
Rogue Town against Smoker and all that.
Yeah, so I've seen a theory like that too. I don't know a whole lot about like the folklore behind dragons and what their capabilities were, like whether or not they control weather. I'm assuming they probably could since people are talking about it. But I have heard that, he might not have a devil fruit, but he's just extremely well versed in hockey, all three realms. He probably has like god tier conquerors hockey. Um, and I know that like, there's been direct evidence in One Piece to where like when Whitebeard and Shanks clashed on Whitebeard's ship, you know, with Shanks' sword and Whitebeard's weapon, whatever it's called,
Hmm.
split the sky. It affected the weather and the climate around them. Um, the same deal with whenever he first showed up in Loketown and the weather changed, you know,
Yeah.
and there wasn't any evidence of him changing into like a dragon form there, obviously. I mean, granted, we would never know and Oda would never showed us right off the bat. But I mean, I don't think you can count out either, you know, likelihoods of either the dragon thing or the hockey thing happening.
Do you think that speaking of Smoker, do you think he's gonna come back and make some more appearances and play a pivotal
Oh,
role?
for sure, dude. I think he's gonna have a great presence in definitely like the laugh tale arc, like leading up to finding the One Piece, or like the final war pretty much. I think
Yeah.
he is like, if Luffy is like Roger, then Smoker is like Garp. They're like
They're
rival
inextricably linked.
rivals. Yeah, they're linked,
Hmm.
I like Smoker. He's a good
Well,
character.
honestly, I think he is a really OP devil fruit.
It is OP, dude. It's very hard.
Yeah, you can't
And he
deal.
has that.
It's so hard to deal any damage to him. That's why, like, I feel like, I guess now with hockey, you can deal damage to
Dude,
Logia
yeah,
uses,
so
but like Logia dudes are like super OP.
when you get to Punk Hazard, you'll have a better idea of what Smoker can do because he comes back there. He actually has like a pretty big presence in Punk Hazard, and he brings in like his whole military faction that he gets put in charge of post time skip. Um, so that'll give you like a better perspective of what to see from Smoker and how he compares to Luffy post time skip. Um, but he's a character which I feel like he's very like he's hungry in the same sense that Luffy is, to where like he wants to get stronger, he wants to get better. He has a very strong sense of justice and he likes to enforce it, but obviously he's not like a Kainu where it's
Yeah,
um
it's not.
like
He's not
absolute
like
justice.
a megalomaniac. Yeah.
Right. It's not like absolute justice to where like whoever he feels like is at wrong, as long as that person dies, I don't care what the other casualties are. You know what I mean? Like Smoke
Mm-hmm.
is like a better moral compass, but he still likes to enforce what he feels is right, and like he does it actively. He's not lazy.
So if when the series ends, and because I feel like there's a very real possibility that it could be they go to find the One Piece and they discover it's just nothing this whole time, and the One Piece was the friends we made along the way or something like that. Would you be disappointed if there was no real payoff?
Uh, I would be I would be very disappointed, but that's highly unlikely. Oda's said that it is a tangible thing. The One Piece does exist.
I think it'll probably be like a book that's the history of the world, of the void
Yeah,
history.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be revolving around the history of the world. Um, and so I've been seeing a lot of things yesterday. After you said that we were gonna have this thing, I wanted to make sure I had my chops up before entering this thing. So basically, what I think is gonna happen is that with the poneglyphs, that were prescribed by the Kozuki clan, um, they engraved all of the history that they've seen and scattered them all across the globe. I think what happened is that the One Piece can be accessed when you have access to all three of the ancient weapons. Pluton, Uranus, and Poseidon. We already know what Poseidon is, being Shirahoshi, which I don't want to spoil that for you, but
That's
um,
that's that's the girl from Fishman Island, right? That's a mermaid.
yes, she is the princess who has the ability to talk to and control all the sea kings. So all of the sea monsters within One Piece. Um, we currently don't know what Pluton or Uranus is, but Frankie has the blueprints to, I believe, Pluton.
Pluton, Pluton,
Yeah,
because I've been watching that one, so it's Pluton.
right, right. So yeah, he has the blueprints to that, and so they're all ancient weapons. And so 800 years ago, there was this ancient kingdom, and the ancient kingdom was separate from the Tenryubito, which are the celestial dragons, which originated from the original celestial dragons were the original rulers of the 20 other kingdoms who banded together and created this own like society.
The world government.
The world government, right? So they created
Um,
the world government, and the world government, all those celestial dragons live in the holy land of Marijois, which is directly on top of the red line, which divides, the world. So Fishman Island sits directly below Marie Joie, below the red line.
Mm-hmm.
So if that divides the world, I think the One Piece is almost like whatever you find when you have the three pieces to um
The weapons.
to the weapons or whatever, and then you can almost like I would want to say destroy the red line, and that takes out that big divider to where the world is in one piece again. Because the big thing with the ancient kingdom, as far as I know, is that like there's a big like racial like disparity prejudice, and like they kind of wanted to like divide everything because one piece has tons of races, tons of species of different things, and they all intertwine in this big world. um, Even like within the humans, the the celestial dragons are like on the top, and then everybody else is like shit. So imagine
Yeah.
what they believe to be like below a human, or like a fish man, or like a giant. So I think the goal of the One Piece is just like to unite everything and have there be no like unnecessary borders, pretty much.
Yeah, I had read a theory that the One Piece itself is a devil fruit. That's the water fruit, Logia fruit, where you can control water, and then you can just wreck fucking everything, and you can't drown like other devil fruit users can.
Dude, that'd be OP as shit. Like,
Um, and then that's also the final ultimate weapon.
hmm yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense. You know, you could just say that, you know, wherever devil fruits came from, just be like, oh yeah, well you have the power to create earthquakes and fuck everything up. Well, you're drowning, bitch. Get your floaties on.
There's
You know,
so much fucking lore in this show. Like, oh my god.
and that's what I love about it, dude. Like, because you know when they go in depth, so many characters' backstories with the Void Century. You have the Will of D, which I believe are all ancestors of the people from the ancient kingdom. And so, like, even though one of them dies, they're said to always die smiling because they know that their will be carried on to the next generation. And I would believe that their will, presuming that my speculations on the theory of the One Piece would be like they know that they will eventually like unite everything. But it's so cool, like the Will of D and all these other crazy subsections of the lore, you know, the history, like what happened.
Hmm. Yeah, there's so much lore. Like, and I still haven't see. I haven't even gotten to the hardcore stuff yet with lore. Like, I'm still like, oh, what's going on? Like, who the hell is Frankie? Like, is
Dude, you're
Frankie
just
joining the
breaching the
tribe?
surface, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun
Yeah. Whenever you, because it's tough sometimes post time skip. Um,
to remember everything or to just keep going.
well, yeah, you know, to remember everything, but for me, it was to keep going. I mean, to be all honest, you know, people might have mixed opinions about this, but I did not like Dressrosa. It was too long. It did not need to be dragged out as far as it did. Punk Hazard just didn't really hit right for me. And, you know, there was a big bulk of the
The post time skip stuff. Yeah.
post time skip. Like, it was pretty much like, other than Fishman Island, which I really did enjoy, it wasn't until they got to the pure Yonko saga with the start of Whole Cake where I was really like, okay, now we're getting into it. Now it's going to be good.
But Whole Cake is completely separate, right, from the stuff with Sanji, or is that all? That's all interconnected, right?
It's all about Sanji. The reason
Okay.
why they go to Whole Cake initially is because of Sanji.
Uh,
When you go to Fishman Island, you find out stuff about Big Mom, but Luffy, his original first hit, you know, first planned interaction with a Yonko was going to be with Kaido.
so why is Dressrosa so long? Like all I know about is that like they meet Sabo, he gets the fire fruit that Ace had, and then it turns out he's Luffy's other brother, right?
Yeah. Um,
An actual blood brother, right? Because he's Dragon's other son, or
you'll
no?
find out. I don't
Okay.
want to ruin anything for you, but
And then he fights. Don Quixote del Flamenco. That's all I know about that arc, and that's
Uh,
really long. It's like a what 130 episodes, something like that.
yeah, right around 130. Um, it's like painstakingly long, dude. I think it took like 2 years or like maybe more.
That would take about three, two and a
Three
half to
years,
three.
yeah. And so they introduced a lot of characters who do play like a who I believe end of series will play like a pretty big role. Um, but like, that was I guess where they got introduced. Um, you know, the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. Um, but it just got dragged on too much about I mean, I guess it made sense like with the history of like to kind of deepen the plot and like give people some emotional connection to why the events of Dressrosa were important, but it was just a culmination of so many things that even led up to Dressrosa that it's like, dude, just get on with it.
I feel you.
Yeah. It had a lot of potential, but it just kind of fizzled out because episode by episode, not many like things happened. Like they just could have condensed it, I guess.
I'd heard that that's a real big complaint with the anime now is that I saw someone say they were like, oh, you can take one chapter and they turn it into like 15 minutes of episode. Like
Oh, so they're saying it's being
it's
rushed.
it's so slow paced.
Oh, okay. Well, no. So a lot of people, from what I've seen, is that like they're kind of rushing the manga of what it seems. Like I don't know if people think that Odo's just like trying to be done with it. I'm not sure like how he's doing like health wise if he wants to finish the story
Well,
before.
he's probably in his mid 40s, because
Oh, okay. So
he's
he's
been
not
doing
super
this
old.
since he turned. He's probably in his late 40s, maybe early 50s, because he's been doing it since he was like 22, I think, something like that.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, he wasn't crazy old, but I remember seeing somewhere on Instagram. It was probably just some fake BS or whatever, but they were all like, "Oh, I'm not sure how his health is doing or whatever, so he might want to just be rushing along with the series and just trying to finish it. I'm not sure when it'll be done or whatever, but people have been saying
But
that
you can't just rush it because you have so many things built up and you have to
right,
like
and I hope
resolve
it's
them
not
all.
rushed. I hope they don't finish it for like another 7 years or so.
Yeah, like it has to be
Um,
done when it's done.
right, just we've invested so much time in it. Let's chill out and not jump the gun because that would be like the biggest disappointment of my life, honestly. You know, to just have it be like, oh yeah, it's Wano. Yep, 3 years. Yeah, you're done. So
Do you think Wano's going to take 3 years to get through?
no,
Oh,
they're already leading into the big climax of it uh,
oh,
that just got released yesterday. So that's the thing.
oh,
Like, so people are saying that they're confused about the pacing, and it's still a great arc. Like,
oh. So is Wano going by way too quick?
it's what people are saying, but I don't think it's going by quick. I think it's going by quick in comparison to like what we've been used to post time skips. I think it's flowing pretty well here. You know, it's like one arc of One Piece is still like an entire series of something else.
Yeah,
Plus,
exactly. Like most animes I watch are like at most like I don't watch like yeah I'll watch. I haven't watched the new season of My Hero Academia, but most shows are like yeah like these like 26, 27 episodes like or less than that even.
yeah, yeah, it's like okay, so Naruto Shippuden was like 400 something episodes. That was pretty much like all of pre time skip, and then boom, post time skip. That easily could have been one anime, but Oda chose not to because he's a friggin' G.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, because why would it? But even though the art style of the anime is completely different post time skip from pre time skip. Um.
Yeah, yeah.
So it could honestly have been a separate entire show, but
hmm I know a lot of people have big quarrels about Toei Animation, about how they've been doing before Wano. Like there were parts in Dressrosa and in Whole Cake to where like the still frames, if people literally looked like a 3-year-old drew it. Like it was bad. And like so like it's all like the background stuff, like all like the fluff. So like yeah, the main character and everything looks good in the shot, whoever the shot is focused around, but all of like the fodder people and whatever, I mean they just look horrible, like so bad. Like you can easily look up an example and know what I'm talking about. But so they're doing a really good job now, I think, in the anime. So I'm glad it'll be kept up.
Hmm.
Let's see. That's pretty bad. Like look
That's
at his
pretty
face.
bad.
Yeah. Look at that. I think that's real.
Which one?
The third one.
Oh, no, that looks bad,
No,
bro.
no. Well, that's Annie's lobby. I'm talking about this
Uh,
one. With yeah.
bro,
Like you can't even
no.
tell what that little rectangle is there. I know what it is, but it's like
Who is that? Is that a person?
yeah, it's a person, dude. But like
I
that,
know that that's
you'd be like, what is that,
Trafalgar,
a bench?
and then that's, oh my God, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
So you can see why people would be so frustrated. I think it was like a subconscious thing where it's like people just, it was an eyesore. And I think that's why people really kind of had a big dislike to it.
Maybe my other search was better, but still.
Yeah, you get the idea.
Yeah.
That far in the anime, you'll really notice it now that I brought it up.
So yeah, I think for today, I think this is all we want to talk about. Thank you very much, Neil, for coming. We'll definitely do another episode of this where we talk about some more One Piece stuff. Maybe when I get a bit more caught up, we can talk about what I think is going to happen and just discuss what's going on for me as I watch along. So yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Hey, dude, thanks for bringing me on. It was fun. Definitely do it again.
All right, well, let me see how I can end this. Yeah, sounds good. I will see you later, brother.
Take it easy, Ryan.
See ya, see ya.